The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Everybody, welcome back to the Always Man and Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. As you can see, I am your host tonight, Chris, joined by Bestie and Walker. Hi, boys. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Wonderful.
Okay, how are you, Mark?
Fabulous.
Fabulous, right.
Okay.
It's been another busy week for Newcastle United. And since we last recorded, last Monday, we've had a drone show. We've had a win against PSG and a well-earned point against West Ham, we shall put it. But we'll get on that in a little bit more detail.
Totally forgot about the drones.
And COVID.
COVID, yeah.
COVID
I've been laid up.
Bestie has COVID, but we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail.
You're going to go into COVID in more detail.
Yeah, we're going to go into COVID detail, yeah.
All of the symptoms and everything.
It's
mad that drone show was a week ago.
Yeah.
A week ago the
It
season.
was like literally when we sat doing this, and then we went and looked out the window to see it, didn't we?
Could you see it from the up here?
Could see a glow.
Because I nearly went, because I'm right on the riverside in Shields. I thought, I might go and have a look. And then I thought, there's absolutely no point. Like, there's no point. I could kind of work where the ground is from mine. But that would be a silly idea.
Yeah, I think you had to be with a decent distance of the ground.
13 miles away.
Yeah. Across the river.
Yeah.
Oh, way across the river, yeah. Like,
Well, you could have probably got it from, the Hilton or something. It would be a good view. Like,
Right, if you went to Windmill
Top of
Hills,
stage.
just the other side of like Gateshead Metro and that, you'd get a good view from there because it's straight down across the river and up. Unspoiled views.
apart from Gateshead being
Right
behind
up.
you. Turn around and get a pretty spoiled view.
Bencham.
Is Benjamin a nice bit as Gateshead? I'm not a Gateshead man. It's always I drive through the Team Valley.
There's some. No. There's some all right bits, and then, but like the park area, but is that more classed as Saltwell?
That'll be
It's
Saltwell.
Is it Saltwell
It's all
Park?
Benjamin.
It's all Benjamin.
Yeah, bottom of Saltwell Park is still Benjamin,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Like the Saltwell end's nice. The
Is that still
bottom down,
Benjamin? Is it?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
all the way along to there, and then the bit of Windmill Hill down the bank. That's all right, isn't it? Once you're in the avenues and that, it's.
Yeah.
But there's some nice streets.
All right.
Again, Park End.
Moving on.
That's a nicer street.
Rather than looking through the streets of Gateshead.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Not all the
Benjamin
Gateshead.
in particular.
But yeah, we'll do it in Banks next week.
Let's get
Top quality there.
That looks like a nice.
let's
nice
get
drive
straight
through
into
there.
it. So, obviously the drone show. We didn't go and see it, did we? Do you know what it was?
In the end, that was
I was tempted to the point, but then I thought, I'll just see it tomorrow when people post all the photos and videos.
Yeah, I kind of thought that when I thought I
Like
might,
miserable sort.
and then I thought, well, I've seen everything on Twitter anyway. Everyone's
seen it the night before,
the
hadn't we?
Trippier shirt, the Tonali shirt, the Bruno shirt, the Magpie, the shirt, the Seller thing. I thought, well,
Check it in the ball.
that's kind of pretty
The
much it.
Magpie was the most impressive for me. Like
I thought so as well.
I like
like
that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
The drone video as well that it did, where it, like through around St James's, like a FIFA entry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
good.
was
The
quite
video
impressive,
afterwards.
That was good, yeah. So
That was
I like that
pretty cool,
drone
that, like,
shot. Yeah, you see a lot of people with American sports, don't you?
Yeah.
And I think if I remember right, there was a mint one at PSG.
PSG
training
around
facility.
the training facilities. Yeah,
No, I
that
haven't
was
seen that one.
brilliant. That
Unreal.
was excellent. I checked that
It
one
went
out.
on for days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I
Literally
love
showed
there's
you
one at
everything.
Dallas Cowboys training facility, and Tech. I was like, oh, I've got to watch this. It's amazing. It's I'm very much over the street.
PSG one's very good. I think they might done one for, let's say maybe Spurs or something like that. But
No idea. No idea.
Crystal
Crystal
Palace.
Palace?
Nah.
What was it? Selhurst Park or the training?
No. I think did they get a new training ground? Maybe.
Not Leicester. Leicester have got a very...
No, it was definitely one of the newest stadiums. It was not. It was either being Arsenal's or Spurs. It was one of those two. Sure, it was. But anyway, neither of us. Well,
Anywho,
none of us.
I was going to go to the
But I can't get words.
later one after here.
Mhm.
Bloody glad I didn't.
Got
Still
postponed.
be sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I got
did,
postponed
probably
because
as
of
I
well.
that.
might get some free tickets off seller.
Right. Shall we just get into the main talking point then from the last 7 days? And it would be
Bestie's COVID.
Bestie's COVID.
Terrible.
And
Terrible.
Bestie's COVID prevented Bestie from going to Wednesday's night.
It did a mixture
Yeah.
of COVID and a conscience, as Brian put it on. Sorry, Brian put it on Twitter.
Yeah. So, Bestie, talk us through your day on Wednesday.
My day on Wednesday when I worked, Amy, my wife, that is, she's got COVID as well. Was she off on Wednesday? I can't remember. So yeah, I was working, kind of fighting through.
Did you give it to her or did she give it to you?
Almost certainly it was my dad that gave it to both of us. Steve Senior.
Steve Senior.
Although my sister's been on to apologise since she believes that her daughter.
Hang on, is this like your auntie and uncle mixed into one again?
No, it was a daughter, Freya. She goes, oh, sorry, Freya's born. I was like, I can't help some of those things. But yes, Wednesday, what I do on Wednesday? I was kind of sitting thinking, at least I've got to be up for the game later on. I kind of made a decision. I text, I've got a group of lads that are like Newcastle fans, I'm mates with.
You brought mates.
Yeah, maybe real mates, not you hippies. So I messaged them. And one of the lads that it was kind of a couple of lads that I thought I hope one of them two gets it, because if I message the other lads, they're not as big fans and they just go because it's the Champions League and all the kind of glamour.
Okay.
I didn't want that.
Fanfare.
Yeah, they're not real. So I thought I'll mess it, and I hope one of the boys, and it was one of the good lads who got it, Paul. So he got me a ticket. He posted lovely. He's had a ticket on and off for years now. So yeah, once I'd sent that message, it was a really I kind of sorry lads, can't make it. Did it full of COVID and all that. And I said, no, it took ages to press the send button in WhatsApp for the group. I was like, oh, God.
So what time was this about?
I'll tell you. I don't before it's in the car. It had been about 1:30, 2 in the afternoon.
Just advertise that hundreds of people are going to go and rob your car.
The car, which is parked in
Secure car park.
It's in
Secure car park, let's be honest.
I sent that kind of, I suppose one of the benefits of the digital ticketing system, not that, was that Paul didn't have to come to my house and pick up a COVID-riddled piece of card. I just kind of did it all digitally and all that. Like, so he got that, and it was a very easy process. It cost a £5, which I wasn't expecting. So my ticket cost £60 last Wednesday rather than the 55.
Yeah. So was it on a scale of 1 to 10? How tough of a decision was that for you?
It was, tougher than deciding what to call me kids. It was horrible. I mean, I was saying to Amy, it's been 20 odd years. I didn't go to the Champions League last time round, so my last Champions League game was Kiev when Stuart Pearce scored a free kick in '97. Oof. So it's 26 years since I've been to it. So I mean, my last European game, the Scarves days, it goes Benfica at home in 2012. But that's Europa League. It was Pardew, wouldn't you?
That's the away one.
Was that from there? The Estadio de Luz, is it? So I sent that, and as soon as I sent it, I thought, right, I'm going to get more beers. And I'm going to have a big pizza and watch a game that way. So I got a nice big as a meatball pizza, very nice, tasty. And a few bottles of Victoria Malaga, which I think I put in the chat, didn't I?
You did. You did.
And then I sat and...
drowned your sorrows and ate your worries away?
Well, I wasn't that sorrowful, to be honest with you, because if to be honest with you, I didn't want to kind of... Ironically, I suppose, I would have given everyone COVID on the Saturday anyway, if it was going to happen. Because I think the point before you show symptoms is the point at which you're most... That was, you used to say that.
Yeah.
When you were most contagious.
Who knows anymore?
Exactly. But I thought, well, I don't want to go and give him full COVID because it was brutal. It knocked us out. And as I was just saying before we started there, the walk from the metro station to the ground, to get to the ground early because you can't rely on the ticketing system to work on time. So getting in there about an hour early, getting the concourse, I'll sit and read a programme in my seat. Then in 2 hours of football, whatever it was, then go home. I wouldn't have been out of bed now, probably. So I thought, I'll just give it a miss. There's be plenty of other opportunities.
It was actually strangely easy to get in on Wednesday night.
So I was going to ask actually about
So I've discussed this, but if anybody hasn't seen it yet, me and Daniel done a live on Thursday night, I believe it was. Just and we go through obviously how our day panned out. And Mark, obviously there was lots of messages in the WhatsApp group, wasn't there, in the build up of the game saying like we need to get there early, really. Everybody's shitting their pants, and you were quite laid back about it to a certain degree. But I still saw you an hour before kickoff in the concourse.
Well, that's like I don't know why everybody needed to be there 2 hours before the game, like that close to the ground, just to then walk 20 yards to cross the road to go in.
Yeah.
But no, I think I walked up on the hour, and literally there was a small queue in. But like I think literally everybody just wanted to be in the ground super early, because even queuing up outside, like to get through the turnstile, you could hear like there was a real buzz, like coming from inside. And then once I got through the turnstile, I've seen nothing like it. It was like half time. Like the entire concourse
it was like
full.
half time at an away game.
People were singing. There was chants going on. Like, it was like, what on earth is going on? Like, yeah. So, and this, like I say, this is probably a good 50 minutes before kickoff at that point.
Something, I mean, more to do with the atmosphere, like, obviously, because I was only watching it on TV. But I don't often watch home games on telly, because obviously I'm normally season ticket for so many years and all that. It sounds incredible. I mean, we've all seen the highlights and on stuff on YouTube and TNT and stuff like that. But watching the game in like the flags beforehand, which you obviously get a better view of on TV, because when you're there, obviously you're
behind them.
Yeah, I've got me mate John hates it. Sister Gallowgate, he says every time it's right in front, it's right in the middle of Gallowgate as well, so it's always in front of me, can spare. But it was proper. I've seen people talking about it since, and like Micah Richards talking about it, and Jules Breach, I think it was, no, Kate Abdo, sorry, on CNBC, saying like, I've never been. She says something, I've never been here before. This is class. It is. And obviously, every home game isn't like that. But last Wednesday on TV looked like incredible. It was really bittersweet, because I was dead proud, and it was like, this is what I would like. What the work that Wor Flags have done and the effort it takes and all that. It's made a difference, and it was a great place to be anyway for football matches. But the flags have made it kind of it's a spectacle now. Like, the lads, the work that the lads have to put in is absolutely unbelievable for me. Like, but I watching that, and I wished I was there, and I was proper like, oh god, I should be there and all that. But at the same time, it was like brilliant. I love this.
But even before kickoff, because we went up to the seats like really early, before they even kicked off, didn't we? And like, as you came up the stairs out onto the into the stand, the place was full.
Yeah,
like this was like a good 20 minutes before kickoff. The entire stands, every single stand is full.
That was something. Fully enough, I was listening to a podcast last week, and someone said about playing against in Newcastle. I forget who it was. I said it now, but it says you play at St James's Park, and 20 minutes before the game, there's nobody there. Everyone's in the bar, and then you get there, kick off, and all of a sudden, from somehow, everyone's in. I remember watching before they cut the adverts and stuff. About 9:45 to think, it is full.
It's really
rammed. People are keen here, like,
and even the noise, like everybody was chanting, singing. The flags were going.
20 minutes before kickoff, people started waving the flags. So maybe we can't keep this up for 20 minutes.
No.
It wrecks your arm after you've done that for a couple of minutes, like, and it absolutely cripples you. But that obviously, luckily for us, it died down pretty quickly. Then obviously it picks up about 5 minutes before kickoff. And Bessie, like, I don't want to make you sound jealous or anything, but
no, let's
wait.
I'm here now.
That night and that atmosphere and that noise, I've heard nothing like that in St James's Park.
No, again, as I said, like St James's Park, for all, especially before the takeover, it wasn't. I never thought for a long time it was a particularly loud place for the most part. I had this thing before the takeover, and I think I might have said it on here a few times, where like I didn't know if. My memories have been of watching them in like the Keegan years, or when Dalglish got in the second place that time, or that Keegan team. If the atmosphere was actually that good, or if it's just me being, I was 14, 15 at the time, so if it's me remembering
it was
being a Bane,
it was 100%,
and all that, and maybe the roof going as it is.
That's the thing for me.
Is changing, but then since the takeover, there's been nights. Arsenal at home was one 3-0 a couple of years ago.
Spurs the takeover day.
Leicester last season.
Yeah,
the Champions League qualification game. There's been a few times where I thought, actually, no, it wasn't. It was that good, and it has been a few times since. But I've never watching the game on TV seen an atmosphere like that on Wednesday, and I'm sure I'll be back round at some point.
It honestly made like so. If we just look at individual moments in the game, and obviously we've got to applaud Wor Flags once again. They just absolutely hit it out of the park.
Totally.
You keep thinking, how can they improve it? And they do it every single time when these big occasions come around. And obviously the effort that they put in. And like you said, Best, it's second to none. It really isn't the unbelievable.
We've seen other clubs have started doing it. Sunderland is an example. They played Borough at the weekend there, and they've started having that. And why not? I'm not poking fun at them like that. Like, why not do it? But it's Wor Flags certainly. I can't think of another English team that did it as
It's the benchmark, isn't it?
They didn't
Wor
invent
Flags is
flags or anything like that, but that, yeah, the kind of the size and the
Crystal
quality
Palace
of what
are probably
they did.
the closest
Palace,
one in
yeah,
the
Palace,
corner.
they're kind of ultras of for a long time. They have as
Arsenal
well.
have started doing it as well with their ultras as well to try and get that going a bit.
The consistency with which Wor Flags done it, there's a point where it is every game. There's something.
Yeah, something there.
Even if it's just black and white flags, there's always something, and it looks class, and it does add loads to it. And it's again since the takeover, but actually it was a championship, wasn't it? It was but was it even before then? Perhaps I remember it happening in the championship because we had the Rafa.
Yeah, the Rafa flag. There was the Rafa and Lascelles one side by side.
Yeah.
At one point, then I had the words which were all crossed out. Then I had words underneath them.
Ambition, hope.
That might be
hope.
the Premier League season, though, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they not do it and then step away?
Because
Those
those,
that
that
was, wasn't it?
I think when they got after rid of Rafa, because that was the
That's it. Yeah,
they had the one you'll have your club back one, be the Keegan quote,
quote.
and I think that was kind of them almost severing their ties with the club. So obviously that was a direct quote about Mike Ashley, wasn't it? So
obviously Wor Flags absolutely nailed it out. I've got no words to describe it because it blows my mind every single time you see it. But when the players come out and the Champions League anthem starts as well, and just before the Champions League anthem finishes, there's just like a roar.
Yeah,
it's and that's before the Champions.
Well, it built up through the music actually playing.
Yeah,
like it was just like everybody was like it was a realization that God, we really are back. We're here. It's everybody with that just built up. It was just like, yeah.
It's that's another thing. I'm telling you, I'm proper armchair pundit here at night. But as the camera goes across in front of the PSG players, you can hear the anthem, and literally a point at which it gets past the referee to Newcastle, the crowd goes, and it's perfect. The timing of the crowd and that is absolutely like totally synchronized. And I'm glad they didn't do the champions at the end of it, like because they didn't get.
Oh, it did like.
I didn't come across. I thought it was you could hear it, but I thought it was your fans.
Nah, the whole stadium did it.
Oh well,
it actually sounded
ruined the night for me. That
it actually sounded really good.
It sounded mint. It sounded mint. Right, let's just dive straight into the game. I don't think Miguel Almiron is getting enough credit for his finish.
Nah, not at all. That's a great finish.
Brilliant finish.
The way he's going to shift his body.
It's a great
because
finish.
it's coming. It's not. It's a kind of one there you think put your right foot through that because it's coming across your body. Just swing at it, get it. But he opens his body right up, and it's a really good finish because Donnarumma's massive as well.
Yeah,
he's like 6'6", 6'7", something. He's like Dan Burns size in goal. Like, that's a great finish. It's a really good finish.
It's a fantastic finish, and once again, the noise when that ball hit the back of the net. Like if we had a roof, it would be off now because that's I've never ever heard that pop.
It was.
There was just like a deadly silence though when he hit the ball. It just went dead.
It was almost a collective intake of breath of like, is this going to go in? And then it nestled in the corner, and it was just an eruption.
Euphoria.
The only way to kind of describe it. It was just this whole crescendo of noise, deafening. Sorry, Bestie.
It's all right. No, I enjoyed it. Me not being there doesn't mean that my Newcastle got a few points. You know, but. Even like before the Miggy goal, it was a few times. It's such a strange start of the game. Like it was one point where
they had a very, very good chance.
I'll tell you what, who did really well there, and I've not heard anyone mention. Dan Burn did brilliantly for that because he's quite narrow. He's like on the edge of the 6-yard box, more or less.
Because he's so tall.
Widthwise,
very narrow.
The ball comes over from Mbappe. I'm ignoring that. The ball comes over from Mbappe to Dembele, whatever, the volley.
Yeah.
And in the time it takes from the ball to get from A to B, Dan Burn's on top of him. He's right in front, so he's got to try and get around him. So it's a good bit of defending that. But there was one really early, wasn't Marquinhos had the ball, and it was weird because they stood still.
Yeah, just waited for
and
us.
then Newcastle stood still for about. It was like
that was funny. That
Gordon was
like
in there,
standoff, wasn't it?
Both of them for about 4 or 5 seconds. Just
it's like somebody's like controller had just turned off.
Both teams, so they kind of like almost like it was so. I've never seen that happen in a game before.
I think it's because it's the way that they kind of set up is that they'll sit off and wait for teams to press on them and come, which will then leave gaps in midfield and in behind and stuff like that for them to exploit. But we didn't do that. We didn't dive into that quick press at that point because bloody hell did not that North quickly change. But it was almost like they didn't then know what to do because we'd cut off the avenues for a simple pass, and it was like, well, where do I go here? So, but It literally was a tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe, totally. Like from the start and then how he progressed it through the game.
I thought yesterday's game was a little bit similar, and obviously we'll come to later on, but in that we had all the ball, but we were getting beat until like an hour and whatever it was. We had, I think we were like there was one point where the umpire, commentator yesterday said, oh, Newcastle had 72% of the ball. I was like, oh, they had 73 on Wednesday, but it didn't feel. Yes, last Wednesday didn't feel like they had the ball for 3/4 of the game at all to me.
Yeah, it didn't. No, not at all.
It really didn't. It was
because they did nothing with it really.
Nah, I thought they did a really good job on Mbappe. He still looks dangerous when he's got the ball because he's got that much quality. Like
100%.
I think they did a good job with him. They did a good job on Dembele. They just had it was brilliant, and I wasn't. Yeah, right. What you're saying, though, they didn't just kind of swamp them to start with. They just pressed it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of waited. There was that one. The Champions League put a video out of Dan Burn putting a tackle in for throwing. There's one where Gordon does the same thing in front of the Leazes, and that's only 6-7 minutes in, maybe even earlier. It might be before, after that thing with Marquinhos.
It happened a few moments, Bestie. So you've rightly what you're saying. You had the Burn one, you had the Gordon one. Bruno done it.
Bruno
does
did
about 5 times.
Bruno did it all the time. Anyway,
Trips done one, and he was going wild.
That was in front of where East Ham won it.
Might be the Milburn, I think.
Huh?
He did one down our corner.
Did he?
That's a video I've seen.
One on the other side as well. There must have been a few because I mentioned this on social media as well. The way that the fan base and the players were just one on that night, it was ridiculous. It's normally us like egging on those challenges. And it was the players egging the fans on.
It must be someone House told them to do that. For that happens so often in the game. It must be House been saying to them get them involved as well. Like.
They'd feel the passion coming out from the stands of how up the crowd was for it. We could see how up they were for it, and like you say, it was that real connection between the stand and the players of kind of both. We're all in this together.
Yeah,
we know that you need our support to get through it. We're going to encourage it, at every opportunity to get that noise going. And you saw it in the PSG players' faces that they look shell shocked at times.
Yeah, I was just listening to the Gary Lineker's podcast with Shearer and Micah Richards.
Great podcast, that.
It's really good. Shearer swears a bit much for me, but they've got a Thierry Henry on.
How do you say that?
Trying to be French. Thierry Henry on last week.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
It was. It is. And he was saying, I listened this afternoon, and he was saying, like when the crowds like that and the players are like that, and they've got that belief that you can't beat them.
Yeah.
Not unique in Newcastle. That's like, if you get a club, a crowd, a fan base, and a team that are kind of have that kind of atmosphere, have that like that.
It's like siege mentality sort of thing, isn't it?
I suppose it is that mentality, yeah. And he says you kind of like you're he doesn't say your goal straight away, but it's kind of insinuated. It makes it that much harder for teams to come.
You can't replicate it either. Like, teams just can't replicate that sort of thing. And I know, like, there's been quite a few like posts on social media of people saying, "Oh, like celebrating a tackle or a throw and absolute tin pot and stuff like that." But that's what makes us.
Yeah.
Oh, but when a Spurs player did it this weekend, it was the best thing that they've ever seen.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that.
But if I did, I would applaud it because I love shit like that.
I don't see a problem with it. Like, it's
passion.
It's bit desire, isn't it? Like, and kind of we don't want a team that wins. We want a team that tries. Well, look, we've got a team that does both at the minute, but but we've got a team that tries and kind of that knows the importance. Certainly, I think through like I said, Bruno does it all the time because he knows the reaction he's going to get off it. Trippier, he knows it. He'll be telling the lads, like, I have to keep this up. No, it was a
couple of their moments. It was great to have both local lads on the score sheet as well, Mark.
It's always nice, isn't it? And particularly when the score flying headers across the pitch, chucking themselves at it. That was a weird, cool scenario of what was going on because like
the Dan Burn goal,
we're watching obviously at the opposite end of the ground, and like even from there you think, God, that's surely that's gone in. The whole crowd goes up, but then play kind of continues. And then
gives offside, doesn't he?
Well, you couldn't actually tell what had happened. You were like, what's going on here? And then everything just stopped, and we're like, well, they're checking for something here. But like normally you have the announcer will say, VR check, whatever.
I think it was the moment when there was about 3 or 4 PSG players ran at the referee. Then at that point there's probably going to be a decision going our way.
Yeah.
And there was still probably a good minute after that.
It was long.
Before the
even like we could see the players looking up at the TV, and we're like, well, obviously there's a VAR check because they're looking up there. They're looking at something.
Did they show the replays on there? Is just a VAR check in progress?
Well, that's what it does in
Just
the.
a VR check, I would imagine.
That's what it says in the Premier League, but obviously we can't see it from our end. So I don't know if they have a Champions League equivalent for it, but it seemed to take forever.
Lifetime.
Like 3 minutes, wasn't it? I think.
Of 33, I think. So that's certainly what it felt like, didn't it? But it just was going on and on. It was like, well, it's either a goal and he's the checking the offside. It must be really, really tight, or the checking for a potential penalty, or something. You were just basically running through with whatever scenario it could be to try and get it, and then he sticks his hands up and points, and away they all run over to the side. It's just again pandemonium.
Donnarumma again. He makes two fabulous saves.
Very good saves.
The first one that's going over his head, and he kind of claws away, and the second one from Bruno, like it would have been. It's weird because I'd say that and think, well, just put a foot on that, but he kind of gets down that quickly, and they're both great, and the effort to save it when it actually goes over the line is brilliant as well. Yeah. Like it's a hard blow to beat him, but it was weird because like looking at it again and knowing that they were talking about the Lascelles handball thing, knowing how kind of finicky they were with handballs in the first match day, I thought like maybe he's been a bit lucky there. Like, don't get us wrong, like Bruno does brilliant just to kind of lit the couple of efforts he has. Lascelles gets up well. Dan Burn just kind of those. If it had been his grandmother, she's getting wiped out.
Tonali does fantastic, obviously holding off the defender when he lays it back to Bruno as well. Yeah. It gives him the time to lift it up, and then again you're thinking, oh God, are they looking at it because of the same Burns came over the top of the defender and fouled him or something like that? But like he just I mean, he's a massive old lump, but I don't know how he gets that high and that horizontal to like get over the top of him. But yeah, it was just fabulous when it was
over him as well. I wanted Lascelles to get one because of where he's been with Newcastle, but Dan Burn to do that was brilliant, and the Longstaff as well. The Longstaff goal's brilliant, by the way.
It's mad, like because like obviously we're right behind that kind of thing, and like he gets into a brilliant position and just hits it, and then somehow.
So like even when the ball's hit the net, we're thinking, is that gone in? Like how has that gone in?
Well, it's the way like. It was Miggy gives it a trip, then Miggy keeps his run going, so it opens up the gap. And Longstaff, I remember thinking, go on, and he did.
He just goes, doesn't he?
Just wellies it.
And all I can think of is the angle he's coming from. Donovan was not expecting a shot. He's probably expecting it because it's quite narrow, and you think, well, if he hits this, I'll get me hat on it. Like, he's probably going to be playing it across the 60-yard box because so there Isaac coming in or something at the back post, and I don't think he's expecting a shot. He should do better. Don't get us wrong, but it's a Longstaff as well, man. But the run in, it was so similar to the Southampton game last season, where he's just kind of taking those chances and getting the balls coming at the right time, and he's gone, yep, that's mine.
Even like the Isaac goal against Man City, like the week before, similar position, breaking into the box there. Obviously, lifts get to the back stick for Isaac just to tap it in.
I can't remember that goal. I was there as well.
Cup on Wednesday.
Oh, no, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember the goal.
His head's up constantly.
He
picks it up on the right hand side.
The back stick. He's just there, little tap.
He scored that many goals recently. I kind of
got a stat about that.
You got
a stat.
About the Man City one of the goals that he scored recently.
Just a stat.
Just hang yours.
You wouldn't have watched last week's, did you?
No.
Statman Deck's not here, so
we've got a new segment on the show.
All right.
So each week, we have our lovely watchers and listeners tagging Decker in as many stats as they can see on Twitter.
All right.
It doesn't even have to be Newcastle United related.
That sound
and
right.
Decker's going to turn up and try and remember one of these stats each week.
All because he tried to tell us some stats last week that he'd literally just made up.
The only things you got right is the numbers, and you got the sentence wrong.
The number and the player. I think that was about it, wasn't it?
So yeah, we've got a new segment.
That sound.
What was it called? Statman Deck.
Statman Deck.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with a good one. That's probably as good as you could.
Yeah, Statman Deck. I had to think of it on the spot last week, mate. So that's what we've gone with. So Decker is actually in America. Those that haven't noticed that he's not here. Ruin his trip away and just once again just tag him in as many stats that you can see on social media. Do you know what it is?
Do it now.
Do it on Facebook as well. Find him on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
just ruin all his social media. His Instagram, his Facebook, his Grindr.
Yeah,
whatever.
He's burn our phone.
He's burn our phone. Yeah, just tag Decker in as many things as you possibly can. But yeah. Longstaff got on the score sheet. Absolutely fantastic. It's at that point you're thinking, Jesus Christ, we're winning this.
3-0. We were just pissing ourselves laughing at that point, wasn't it? Like there was just like it was just shock. But like that would score 3 goals against PSG at home with that performance in the manner that we went about it. It was just like
That was the thing. It wasn't
disbelief, but just joy all mixed into one.
It wasn't like a freak. Like they've battered when we've got, I remember we played Fulham at home. Got to be 4-1, I think, actually, years and years ago. And Mark Crossley saved everything. I think Lewis Bournemouth got a couple for them with beautiful 4-1. And that was such a weird game because we had everything. And this wasn't that game. This was Newcastle being 3-0 up after 55, 60 minutes, deservedly.
Yeah.
Controlling the game.
Totally, yeah. Without having much of the ball, but just, everything that happened was because we wanted it to happen.
We just punished them at every opportunity we could.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, I'm going to say get back into it because it felt like they got back into it when they scored.
Made a few changes, didn't they? And then
it felt a bit nervy, even though we're still 2 goals ahead.
Yeah, watching it, I felt
nervy.
that. Because you know what it is? It's a poor goal to concede that.
Yeah.
Because Hernandez comes from really deep.
Bloody miles offside as well.
I thought he was, and then obviously they showed the replay. But I thought he's come, and again, West Ham did the same, I think, yesterday, where he just trots around the outside and no one picks him up. It's a good run. It's a good ball. The young lad put it through, isn't it? The 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Getting his name out, but he was a good player. Looks like a really good player, him. But yeah, there was a spell for about 5 minutes after that where I thought, like, if they get another one here, then we're not winning this. But then it was weird because when we beat Barca 3-2 back in '97, 2-0 up at half time, scored at the start of the second half, they got one back. Obviously finished 3-2.
Yeah.
We were right in the back foot. That was Luis Enrique and Figo. Luis Enrique, manager of PSG now. And we were right in the back foot there. I thought, oh God, I've seen this before. But then during the first half, you won't have seen this. During the first half, the commentator read out a stat that PSG
Statman best.
Yeah. PSG had their starting 11 had scored 96 or 97 Champions League goals between them. Our starting 11 had scored 1. So that speaks to the difference in experience. Remember when we talked about the cup final in February?
That would have been Isaac, was it?
No, I'm assuming it's Tonali or Trippier. Because Isaac.
Or even Bruno, possibly.
No. Maybe.
I think it'll be probably one of the
I'll guess Tonali.
Probably,
I didn't look it up, but I guess Tonali because they got the semis last year with him.
Yeah.
Played most of the games, but like I remember we talking about the cup final. We've mentioned it a few times the difference in experience between like Man U had De Gea, Casemiro, Rashford, blokes that have been in cup finals have won stuff. Our team wasn't very kind of battle hardened in the Champions League at that level, and that's what made me think when they scored, oh, we could be in trouble here. But we've dealt with that the way they did, and we'll finish the game on the front foot again, scoring another goal, getting about them. Still putting watching James Alcott's video last week about how high up the pitch, even like after 3-1 up after 70 minutes, 85 minutes, 90 minutes, how much we are just getting them in their faces. And this is a different Newcastle team than that. Like I was so impressed with how they dealt with that. Because again, for Mbappe didn't do a great deal. Had a couple of chances. Lascelles cut off Dembele once, which was a brilliant chase back. He makes so much ground up.
Challenge,
Was a few little bits like that where I thought like they look good, yeah. And then all of a sudden we again just controlled it and saw the game out. But that was probably the most impressive thing, or as impressive as most other things in the game, was that period, how they rode that out and got back on top again. Because again, that team in '97 didn't do that and they just hung on, whereas this one flipped it back on its head. It was great. It was such a gratifying kind of way to finish a game. Like
no, 100%. And obviously Fabian just wraps that up, Mark. And I think it's that point where we're gobsmacked.
Did you know before he hit it?
As soon as it left his boot.
I think every time Fabian hits it, you think
when Murphy gives it back, I'm like, sorry, he scored this.
Every time it lands like to him, that position on the outside of the box, you're thinking that's at least on target.
Yeah. Aye.
And I think that didn't happen.
No, I didn't hear it.
But I think it's because there wasn't actually time for people to even shout that, because it just came to him and he just hit it. And like people are going on about the slip. Does the slip help it go in?
I think it helps. I think it helps.
He's not. I think he's already connected with it nicely, and then he slips. So
I think the slip just lifts it that bit.
Yeah,
possibly.
But I think if he doesn't slip, that's taking the keeper's hand off.
He was lucky in the first half. That one went just wide. It was a really well worked corner. Came really close there. But that's such a lovely hit. You seen the view of it from behind Donnarumma, from in the goal.
Yeah,
we can see the Milburn. It looks brilliant. Just the ground, not what's happened, but the whole thing. It looks like a computer gets. Oh man!
Wait, and just see everybody's just watching it, and like everybody behind the goal can just see that it's going in, like instantly from it leaving his foot in the whole place. It's that intake of breath, and it's the noise and like you say, it just hits you. What a ridiculous situation that you then find yourself in. That you 4-1 up and like and made it look easy.
It's like I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, but I mean, Shea might be in the Champions League scorer.
Apparently, I'm not sure how true this is, but there's been a couple of comments in it. It was Botman that scored for Lille.
Botman?
No, I would never guess that.
This person might be lying in mind.
Well, I've not got an idea, so possibly. I didn't know Lille.
We need Deck to fact check this.
For two.
So
on a big fact hunt.
So what? So there was one goal. What was the stat that you had?
They'd scored 90 odds in the Champions League before. Well, I suppose they still have. That's when Zane Weed scored 1 throughout the whole team. That was what the commentator said.
So throughout the whole team, anybody watching this live, find out who that is, because there's a couple of different ones. The Botman's been mentioned, Tonali's been mentioned. So we might be completely wrong. Find out for who was the Newcastle United.
This isn't my stat. This is the TNT Sport commentator.
PSG game. Who was the one player in that team that scored a Champions League game?
But Shea, when I was mentioned earlier, Shea wins. Your centre half. This is you're 3-1 up, and your centre half is winning the ball 30 yards from goal.
Yeah.
And then he's not winning it, giving it and going back. He's saying he's going, I'm going to have a goal here. Like, it's a lovely little, just the way he kind of runs on the back of Murphy. And then, but like I say, as soon as Murphy gave me, I thought, I'm up.
Do you know I just love Fabian Shaw's celebration. He's just cool as out. He's thinking like that. I've just scored a Champions League goal. Like, I'm just like this. That's it.
These corkies.
Yeah. Then you look at Longstaff and he's about to burst when he scored. Miggy's about to burst.
I'm buzzing for actually all 4 of them.
Yeah,
like that's great for Miggy trying to jump over the board.
Yeah, he couldn't get over the board.
I put a thing on Twitter after the game. It might be Thursday morning. Like, the 2 local lads scoring. Longstaff, who under Bruce was gone. Shea was gone under Bruce.
Yeah,
as good as. And Miggy, who's probably the most vilified player in the squad at the minute. People constantly say he's shite, but he's played really well. He's rubbish. Him hasn't scored or assisted for like a fortnight now. He's crap. And it's like,
I think it's 3 of them at the minute.
There's probably it's mad, isn't it? How well we're doing and all that.
We have our player in.
Who?
Have we got confirmation of this?
We don't, but it's Scott, and I'm trusting him. So it was Tonali against Porto.
That was the one.
Apparently.
Right.
Apparently.
So
we're going with it for now until somebody else tells us something different. Yeah. We're going with that. But did they not tell you on BT Sport, on TNT? Sorry.
No, I keep doing that as well. No. If they did, I didn't hear it.
It's like
mine also. There was also a thing where
that is
stuff.
James Richardson said that 8 members of the Newcastle team weren't from last week on the squad were in the championship, and I can't think of 8 members of our first team squad that were in the championship.
First team or including bench?
Squad.
Squad, right, okay.
Lascelles, Richie.
Dummett. Richie. Anderson, technically?
Nah.
Longstaff would have been
7 years ago.
It's not 7 years since we were in the championship.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah, 7 years ago this season.
Bloody
16, 17. It's half a career, that man. Longstaff will have been 18. Anderson will have been about 13, 14 year old.
We could be old here trying to figure this out.
Dubravka?
No, he signed
when he came back up.
31st of January 2018, he signed.
Don't know. That's one for you as well. Put it in the comments. Even if you're watching after this, put it in the comments.
In the squad.
How many players was it? 8.
8 apparently.
8
and I don't think I've got any better than 3 or 4. I think I might be including Longstaff, who I don't think was in the first team picture back then. He started getting his game the season after.
Yeah,
played Blackburn in the League Cup. And he played. I think he scored.
Scott thinks that they might have said prior to takeover. I don't know what difference that makes. Like,
no, he said championship. James Richardson. This was on the Athletic podcast.
Possibly still at the club, but because obviously, like Hayden wouldn't have been in the squad.
Hayden didn't play. Hayden's at the age.
That's what I mean.
No, it's a match day squad.
But he wouldn't be in the squad because he didn't play for Newcastle anymore.
Squad.
Yeah. Dwight Gale didn't play, did he?
But anyway,
it
was an absolute fantastic night. It really was on Wednesday. It took us a couple of days just to wind down after that.
I couldn't speak until tonight.
My throat was knackered on the Thursday.
COVID, that lads.
I was just singing and shouting and screaming.
Mind, I thought I'd scream the COVID out my body when the 4th went in. I started sharing that, giving another one with John Coffey or Shawshank not Shawshank, Green Mile.
Yeah,
it was like that.
COVID.
The COVID left me body, and then by Thursday morning it was back in.
But yeah, like I said, it took a couple of days, and I'm assuming everybody else watching would have been exactly the same because adrenaline was so high on the Wednesday, and it just like an absolute emotion dump the couple of days afterwards, where you just physically drained, and like it was like a 3-day hangover.
I was emotionally and physically done in after that game, like because you'd been through everything, like through the ringer of like. But what a game to experience. It's probably like probably my favorite home game.
Would you say that it was a better? Is there any point in comparing with Barcelona '97?
Could you not compare it to the fact what you just said? It was a dominant performance from probably 10 minutes onwards. The PSG game, where we looked like the better team throughout.
I thought we did, yeah.
Kobe asked this question the other day on his Facebook page. Is that the best home game that you've been to? And like other ones that I like was thinking of was obviously that Barcelona game, the Leicester when we won promotion, where we won 7-1.
For me,
when we stayed up against Portsmouth,
the one down in the 93.
David Kelly,
92.
Like things like
Forest 5-0 in '97 was my favourite for a long time because it was the day that we finished second. Was the day we qualified for the Champions League for the first time. Beat them 5-0. Sent them down. Sunderland Borough went down as well. For me, Arsenal a couple of years ago, last home game we beat them 3-0.
That was excellent.
That was like that was a real, and for all it was pretty inconsequential as far as we were concerned because I think we'll finish 11th.
It's just because of another dominant performance, or wasn't it?
It was kind of like this is. We've done it before. We beat Spurs 5-1 when we went down. We were beating better teams than what we were by more goals, but that one felt like we're here now.
Yeah.
I think it's just
teaching the big boys lesson, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
The result, the performance, what it meant, the fact that it was 20 years since we'd been there. I think it's just everything around the occasion is what puts it up there.
Yeah,
there for me.
And we deserved it. We could have scored more.
Yeah.
But there was a few of their chances, and we could have scored more.
Yeah, like I say, Shea, that one in the first half, thought that was in just the wrong side of the post.
No, yeah. Anybody watching live there, if you do have any questions, send them in as soon as possible, and we'll go through them right at the end because we'll go for another 15 minutes thereabouts. Let's just jump.
Whistle stop to our West Ham.
Yeah, let's jump straight to the West Ham game. We'll briefly summarize the West Ham performance. I'm not sure about you two. I would have took that point before a ball had even been kicked.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have taken it until the 60th minute yesterday, and then I was gutted. But I think that's a good result. West Ham are above on the table at the minute. They're a hard team to beat, especially at the City of Manchester, at London Stadium, where they play again. They're a good side. They're a dangerous side. And
much improved from last season.
Oh, completely.
Yeah,
it was a weird one. I know I mentioned this the other week. When we played them down there last season, they got the early. No, they hit the post earlier. I think Jared Bowen hit the post, and then we went on and beat them 5-1.
Yeah, they were very, very good last season. When we played.
Yeah, they were. But Paqueta played really well. Bowen played really well. And Paqueta, he's a swine, isn't he? He's a bugger, him, but he played well yesterday again.
Yeah, he was good.
Could have been sent away. The commentator, what I was watching, the commentator kept on saying, "Oh, Bruno could have gone, Miggy could have gone." I think, "Oh, Paqueta could have gone because he did the same thing." There was a few that, and I thought, well,
yeah. So
it was infuriating to watch.
West Ham's the way they set up defensively was unbelievable. We just couldn't break them down at one point.
Like Liverpool at St James's a few weeks ago.
They kept on hitting on the counter and having everybody up top. Then as soon as we hit them back, everybody would just miraculously ended up back where the start
wasn't that was one bit for me because there was a point where Isak picks the ball up just inside of their half and he just drives at them. And out of nowhere, 7 West Ham players suddenly come into the half and get behind the
Newcastle
ball.
player there.
There's not even a Newcastle player in the picture. He's got to stop, turn around, and even on Match of the Day, they made a thing of it because he then passes the ball back and he almost gestures to them with his hands up, like saying, "Like what's going on? Where are you?"
They set up really well. They did. Obviously, we went a goal down, and we're talking about saying nothing. You mentioned Bruno there. He should have gone. Like
it was red card from that.
He should have gone.
No problem at all. That definitely. Referee bottled it for me.
100%. I said that watching that live. Like as soon as Bruno makes that first challenge, it's yellow card all day. About 30 seconds later, that's an identical challenge he makes, and you're thinking, referee needs to show a bit more bottle. Luckily for us, Bruno stays on.
Yeah,
he does.
I think he gets away with it because it's not a bad tackle. It's
No,
not
but he's
a
breaking.
It's like Jota though.
It's
Yeah,
not a-
I've seen that.
He's breaking the play up. That's what he's doing.
but I think on the first one he means to do it.
He did.
He tries to like trip him for that
Mhm.
one. So I think fair enough.
Is this going to be your
that's a
controversial
booking.
opinion?
No, because
The hot take.
in the rules of the game, yes, he should have been sent off.
Yeah.
But that second one's soft. If he hadn't been booked for the first one
Mhm.
and he then gets booked for that, you probably go, oh, fair enough. He's had a couple there. He's got away with the first one.
Mm.
That one's a booking. I think the fact that it becomes so quickly after the first, because it's not even 90 seconds since he's been booked, and it is a genuine attempt to play the ball rather than trying to foul the man or going in and a bad tackle or something like that. It's just a bit of a mistimed effort to get the ball, and I think that's what the referee.
I don't think anybody's
takes that
saying
into-
it's a bad challenge, but Bruno knows exactly what he's doing. He's stopping the player from getting past.
No, because that for the first one, I think that's what he's doing. Deliberate foul. I think that one is just he's making a conscious effort to try and get the ball.
It's
And he
more
just
clumsy than it
mistimes
is.
it, clumsy, rather than a trying to foul.
I
He should have
think,
gone though.
I think it was the other way around.
Rules of the game, 100%. It's a red
But
card.
he was inconsistent. The referee, he should have. Paqueta, I mentioned earlier,
So
he flattened Miggy at one point.
It
It's
started-
very similar challenge.
it
Nothing.
started with Emerson. So Emerson asked for, I can't remember which one of our
Oh, he was
players
trying to.
That was funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
It was Bruno's. That was our first one with Bruno, I
yellow
think.
card.
It
No,
was.
I don't.
Yeah.
it was.
Was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
the first one?
Because he booked Bruno straight.
No, I
after.
don't think it was. I
It
think
was.
No, it was.
beforehand.
It was.
Definitely was.
I thought it was a bit before that. But anyway, he does that. Obviously, both players get booked. Then not long after, Almiron does
He does
exactly the same.
It was that one on Paqueta, because Paqueta should have been booked and Miggy, if I could book him for doing that, which I think fair enough.
Yeah,
In fairness,
yeah.
I don't think the referee's looking at it.
yeah, he got
So
away
I
with that
think
one.
he gets
Miggy, as
away
well.
with it.
The referee had a strange day because our first goal comes from a free kick, which isn't a free kick at all. It's just a coming together, like
50-50 in it.
Is that the one
Tonali
with
gets brought
Tonali?
down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not,
It's
oh,
just
yeah.
intertwined and that's it.
Because I've seen the one of Moyes having a good Tonali on the sideline. I thought,
Yeah.
but it's not that one, is it?
Well,
No, it's not.
It's
no.
a different one. No, you're
Yeah.
right. It's as much as foul.
It's a shoulder. Shoulder.
Yeah, there's no in that.
Yeah.
the only thing is, Tonali does get a bit of an elbow in his temple, but it's completely accidental. They're both kind of spinning each other around, and
It's
he
not a
ends,
free kick
he
at
ends
all.
up with it's a elbow in the side of his head. But it's a 50-50.
It's a bad decision.
We're,
that, yeah.
we're lucky to get
Well,
it.
it's looking to get it. It could have gone in that way. It could have gone. It could have been played on.
Could just be because there was probably worse tackles where he did just play it on and let
Yeah,
it go,
right,
and
right, aye.
so he
Yeah.
was very, very.
I think we've
Inconsistent.
just got to call the referees done us a favour during that game, though. Massively.
Overall, I think so. Yeah.
He was on our side there, like, because, like I said, Bruno should have 100% been off. If that's a West Ham player, I'm screaming for him to be sent off, no matter if Bruno means
Well,
it or
Alexander
not.
Arnold earlier in the season,
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, very similar.
because it was a soft. No, well, the first one was a kicking the ball away, wasn't
Kicking
it?
the ball away, and
Yeah.
the second one was
So
bringing
it was a
the
foul.
ball
Foul.
down.
Like, the second one,
100%
the second
foul.
one's a definite yellow
Yeah.
card, but it's a similar thing where, like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's two back-to-back yellow cards, and it doesn't matter how quick they come together in quick succession. It's a red card all day long.
Yeah.
It really is. Bruno's lucky to be on the field. He is.
There shouldn't be though.
But then we turn the
Far
game.
too soft.
Well, we turn the game around, don't we? And he's like grabs a
100%.
brace, and I just want to highlight the second one because
mm,
that ball in by Trippier,
the control
Whoa,
on that.
whoa.
unbelievable.
Rewind from there.
Yeah.
Go back the pass before that.
Who was the pass
Bruno.
before that?
Bruno.
Sorry,
Right.
Bruno from the
yeah.
left side switches play right out
Yeah.
to the right, and then Trippier. It's just
perfect.
a one-touch pass, isn't it?
It's similar to
on the volley. innit?
ish to the one he set up against Sheffield United,
Mm.
but it was in the air instead of being rolled on the deck. It was a lovely. Everything about it, but as soon as he's played it in, you can see where the room is. It's too wide. Yeah,
Tapping.
he's the second top scorer in the league now. He's 6-7 goals.
Just a minute.
Oh, we've got a stat.
Oh, hang on a
Stats.
sec.
We've got a stat.
Make sure that it's right.
He's getting ratified
This
here.
is not how we do
Took a
stats on this show,
screenshot of
Mark.
it.
This is not how we do stats.
So
You've got to try and remember it.
I said that, but then it would.
Well, like what I've just done.
Yeah, butcher it.
So yeah, so Isak. Only Erling Haaland has more Premier League goals than Alexander Isak this season.
Yeah, how many you got? 6. Is it right with 6? Do you know that stat?
It'll say.
Does. If that's another stat, I've got to find that one. I've got loads of stats tonight.
So you just read what I've just said, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
But you gotta get his
not
phone
pretty
out and do it.
much.
You gotta get his phone out and do it.
yeah,
But unlucky for us, West Ham
yeah.
get that equaliser as well. And it's a piss poor goal to concede, though, isn't
It's
it?
not great. Like the first one, I'll go back to the first one if I may. I thought Lascelles lost his man terribly.
Oh, awful.
And Pope's just he just made a bad decision.
So the first goal you can see Trippier and Lascelles end up in the same spot. And
Yeah.
Lascelles is pointing behind his back, saying, Lascelles, why are you? You get back over there.
Yeah.
And by the time he switched on, the ball's over the top. And Lascelles,
Well, he
he's lost the
goes,
player.
Lascelles goes, but then he
too late,
almost
though.
stops.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird. I don't know what he's. Yeah, but Pope's position for that one, it's Darlow-esque.
Well, he's coming out because he's anticipating that ball's coming through, but he's obviously caught in two minds because he thinks, well, of course, Lascelles going to track that man, isn't he? That's what he's thinking.
I'm wondering.
First touch, though.
But the touch
It's
from
a great, lovely touch.
yeah,
Like. But I'm wondering if Pope comes out like that because of the goal we conceded against PSG, where he's thought that could have that one against. I'm not saying that one. The Hernandez one was his fault, but he's in no man's land a little bit. He's kind of only 6 yard. The header's made, and he could have come to try and claim it, or he could have stayed in his line and
stuck in two minds. And
he's kind of
spot.
As soon as Hernandez gets his head in the ball, it's past him.
Yeah.
And it's not a powerful header; it's just where he is. And I wonder if he's got that in mind. He thinks, right, I've got to be on the front foot a bit more. And
I think
got caught out.
during watching the game itself, that then when we obviously concede the first one, at the time I'm thinking, oh, what's Pope done? Yeah, but then when you see the replay and that touch,
it's a
really
brilliant
good
touch.
Takes
Yeah,
it away
yeah.
from.
Aye.
Takes it away
It
from.
is.
But sorry, I know there's a bit all over the place, yeah. But when we're 2-1 up, he's like gets that chance where he's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and you
He
just
does brilliant.
John
The pass
Anderson
again.
yeah, but John Anderson screaming at that, and he saying, "Just put it in the
Yeah.
net." So he
So
tried
even-
to take it
even
around.
it's maybe a slightly.
He does
heavy touch
everything.
around the
He
keeper.
does everything right, but it just like you say that the touch because he does like almost kind of like I don't even know how to explain it, like kind of like a little dummy on the keeper to then shift the ball to the left, and it's just as you say, probably slightly too much of a touch on it, and it just takes him that little bit too wide, and he then can't open up his body enough to just get it around. But again, brilliant defending from West Ham is their defenders coming. Can't think who it is now, but coming flying in to cover that front
It kind of
post
hits
as
the
well.
post then. Yeah.
So he's like, again, he's trying to get it past the post and being aware of that defender coming in. But up until that touch, it's just fantastic. The move, the pass through, he's on to it. His first touch is maybe a little bit heavy as well, but you just think
It feels-
that he's on for a hat trick again.
Yeah, it is. But it finished 2-2, and I think looking back, you're probably thinking it's a deserved point.
It
from
felt like
both
we're
sides.
hung on a bit at the end, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like we had all the ball for the most part, and then that last 10 minutes or so, after they got the second, it felt like we were on the back foot quite a bit. So I think all in all, and that's not a bad place to go and get a point. West Ham, they'll be teams that really struggle here this year.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm okay with that.
The set, as you say, the setup, very, very cleverly. It's the way Moyes is. Moyes?
Moyes, yeah,
Yeah.
West Ham, yeah.
Moyes. I'm just for some reason I was thinking of.
The age, I think.
Man U, Sunderland.
I don't know.
That age.
Who was that?
Definitely
I can't
20,
remember
yeah,
what I was
It's
thinking
the age.
Anyway,
Yeah.
set up and
Tim
make
Breaker.
them very, very difficult to break down and hit on the break. It's what they've done very well. There's a bit of me that thinks though. with
Which bit?
Players, the left lower leg.
Groin.
That does think that with the players that West Ham have got, because they've got some very good, talented players, could they be a bit more attacking and expansive in the way that they play? But it worked out
It's
wonderfully.
working, isn't
for
it? The
them
one
in
the European Cup last season.
the second, they made 2-3 changes and it changed the game from them. Obviously,
it-
Kudos came on and
Kudus, isn't it?
Kudus, however you say it.
Looks like
Came
a
on
player,
and
though,
he changed the game.
Yeah.
Again, you could see that, and I know they had played in the week as well, but levels, the amount of effort that we put into the game and stuff like
Was
that.
it Frankfurt they played?
Yeah, we had another day to recover, but you could see we were struggling. The bench for us was decimated.
Six fullbacks on
Six
it.
fullbacks on the bench, so we didn't really have too much that we could then, do to change things up in the middle of the park. And I think ultimately that is what cost were at the end of the game and got them back into it.
Listen to the thing earlier where they said apparently we've used the fewest players in the Premier League this season, I think 20, which is concerning
Do you
because it
think we've
means
got
that
that actually must be a stat that we've got the most amount of different goal scorers as well.
Was that
yeah,
not a couple
well,
weeks
we
ago?
did have as
Was
of Sheffield United,
But Sheffield, yeah.
Yeah.
and there's only been Isaac scored since, hasn't he? He scored against Burnley.
Do you reckon there's a list in the dressing room just waiting for just take the
there?
players off the list?
Oh no, Miggy.
Did we get one against
Mickey?
Burnley? Why can't I remember?
Miggy was the
Age.
curler.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, aye. Yeah, I think I'll certainly after the Sheffield United game we were.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, it would have to be, wouldn't it?
But then
Has to be. I just want to highlight Josh did just send a donation on earlier on.
Thanks,
He sent
Josh.
a 20 quid
Josh.
donation in. Thanks very much, Josh. He said, "Hi lads, hope you're well. How did you feel when you heard the Champions League anthem at St James's Park last week? The first Champions League game I attended was when I was 8 years old when we beat Juventus 2-1. To experience that in person again was amazing. Likewise, obviously we'll cover that at the very start of the show there. I don't even have the words.
Giddy.
Yeah. There's
Giddy.
a great photo of me and you.
Yeah, there is. Was that on the telly?
Yeah, we were on the telly. Well, it's actually there's a little clip of where we're just laughing and celebrating
Is there?
the goal. Yeah,
You're not
I
tagged us
told
in
you
that one.
But I did tell you. I
Just
watched it
loving
3
life.
times
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, when?
when I sent you the picture, and then twice after that the
Oh,
next
right.
day.
All right. Completely missed that. But yeah.
Yeah, you went and had a full conversation with Daryl about it in the chat.
I don't know. Like I said,
that was
it
like
was a
Saturday-
strange couple of days after
Saturday
that match.
morning or
It
something,
was a
or
strange couple of
Friday
days.
morning, maybe?
Yeah, it was an absolute fantastic moment to be involved in. As a fan, it really was.
It was special, like you say. You've waited 20 years to get back to have that, and then it was almost just a reward. Like, I mean, Eddie, I was spoken about it like with the players, and you've seen it in the documentary around him, like talking to him about like what they've achieved last season, and like this that was that reward of being able to come back and play in the Champions League and have those moments. And like every single person that is alive now and witnessed that, whether they be at the game, at home watching it,
Eating a pizza,
drinking some
Meatball pizza,
bottles,
lovely.
full of COVID, that's going to live long in the memories.
I'll never forget it. Yeah, and same as I don't like. I've like I mentioned, I've only been to the one Champions League game because when I was a kid and all that money and all that. But I remember watching the Barcelona game, vivid memories of the Barcelona game, watching that and all that. And that I'll never forget where I was last Wednesday because it was where at the table I was, where the telly was, everything was like, it's just indelibly. It's one of those things that like it's burnt into me memory now. And that's it forever.
Yeah.
The class. I just so proud. Really, really proud of them. And it's the romantic side of it as well. I kind of haven't mentioned earlier. Burn, Shea, Miggy and Longstaff getting the goals. I would have loved Lascelles to have got one as well.
Yeah.
Just because I mentioned it was like when we went down in 2016, he was the kind of he kicked off with Jan Matt at Southampton.
Yeah.
That was the kind of start of being captain. And even when he's up being playing,
Slapping the army around the training ground.
yeah, even when he's up being playing, like he's been. Whenever anyone talks about him, when Trippier talks about him, or Eddie Howe, and he's still very much a captain, kind of behind the scenes. He's I think how said last week he's improved with the team, and he's been. He didn't do very well for the goal yesterday, but I think for the most part since he's played, he's been excellent in this run.
Previous two,
he's had a decent run.
But he's just a massive part of what Newcastle are, and you could argue one of the most important signings we've made for a long time.
Yeah,
and it's a lovely story to captain with from the Championship to the Champions League.
Yeah,
wonderful.
That was class. I'm really, really happy for him because he probably thought he wasn't going to get a chance.
Yeah,
you know, when you've got Burn, Shea, Botman ahead of him in the pecking order as centre halves, at least. I mean, Burn obviously playing left back more often than not. Like,
so we've been going nearly 59 minutes there. I just want to touch on one thing. You got a stat. It looks like you're bursting to read something.
I've got a couple. So, remember the days when we used to go to London? We'd never get a result, could we?
Under Bobby Robson as well, lad.
Never get a result. So Newcastle are now unbeaten in their last 8 Premier League games in London. 50-50, 4 wins and 4 draws.
Good stat.
And it's the longest run without defeat in the capital in our entire league history.
That's right.
Great
Look
stat.
at that.
Great. 2 stats for the price of 1.
What was the last one that we lost down there?
Doesn't have that stat.
Arsenal.
I would guess Arsenal last season, maybe. Yeah.
Doesn't have that stat. Yeah. So there's one thing I want to talk on, and I don't want to focus too much on this, but it's been a discussion in the comments as we've been recording here. People just going back and forwards with each other. So it's about a certain player. Do you know which player it's going to be?
It could be a couple.
Okay, so
It's going to be Tonali, though, isn't it?
It is. So there's a couple of comments, and like I said, there's been a lot of fans going back and forwards in the live chat tonight. So if you're not watching this live, watch it next week, because it's getting a bit animated in there at the moment. There has been suggestion that Tonali is not good enough.
Rubbish.
He's not rubbish at all. He's all right.
No, rubbish. That there's a suggestion that he's not good enough. He's quality. He's a very, very good player. It's just taken him a little while to adapt to the way that we play, adapt to the Premier League. He's still a very young player. He's only marginally older than Gordon. This is what people don't appreciate. He's coming to a brand new country, doesn't speak the language. He's coming into a team that he doesn't know anybody within there. He's needing to step up. We've seen it with Gordon last season. Came into the team, he struggled at times. He's played in this league. He's an established player in the league. You see it time and time again. It just needs. We haven't had that luxury like we did with Bruno, for instance, of when he signed to bed him in because the team was doing well. We're able to do that a little bit when he first came because we Longstaff came back from injury. We could go with the 3, but then we've been hit with an abundance of injuries in midfield, so we've got no option but to chuck him in there and get on with it. Yes, there's still parts of his game. Yes, he should potentially do better for their second goal. But to say that he's not good enough is ridiculous. It's absolutely mind-blowing. If you can't watch him and see that he's technically a very, very good player, then there's something wrong with you.
I think he's certainly looked better over the past, probably since this. He was a bit. The game passed him by at San Siro a bit. And he's had a bit of a spell on the bench and stuff, and he's started a few games being on the bench. I think he's been fine. I thought he played pretty well. I can't remember his involvement.
I thought yesterday he played pretty well.
I thought he played well against PSG for the most part. I'm a little bit disappointed that kind of people seem to have decided already.
Do you think it's? I don't want to start like pointing fingers or anything, but do you think it's the same sort of people that are going to slag the likes of Longstaff off? They're going to slag Miggy off, for a prime example.
You can guarantee they'll have been slagging Pope off. Oh, he's shite. He should never play for her again. He's a calamity because he made an error. It happens. Man United got rid of De Gea because he makes an error. They've went and spent millions and millions on a brand new keeper who every single game this season's made an error.
Yeah, a terrible start.
It happens. It happens. Players need time to bed in. Mm-hmm. There's always going to be scapegoats. At the minute, it just seems that there's like probably 3 or 4 in the team. Miggy still gets it week in, week out. Yeah. If he doesn't score a goal, he's shite.
Bless Miggy, like
Dan Burn should never play left back again. He's shite. He can't tackle. Oh, he's going to get skinned every single game. Got the best defense in the league. Pope, he's terrible. Can't kick. That's probably true.
Was that weird last week?
Chucks it into the back of his net every 5 minutes. Oh, he should be doing better there. He should be doing better here. Tonali, he's crap. Kind of pass the ball. He's not good enough. How are you, man? Look what we're achieving in the league. Look what the team has just achieved 4 or 5 nights ago. We've just sat and talked nearly an hour about that performance that these players were involved with. Players have an off day. They're not always going to be able to give you 10 out of 10 performances. It happens. People get tired. People make mistakes. It's life.
Thanks. Yeah, I agree.
Am I on another rant?
Yeah. So that qualifies the rant. That one to me.
There was a great comment, and I think it might be Dan that sends a comment in saying, "Oh no, does this mean Decker's not going to like Tonali?" But I'm with you, Mark. I think it's just time. And unlucky for Tonali, he hasn't had that bending period like almost every other Eddie Howe sign has had. It's backs against the wall with the injuries which we'll have at the minute, obviously in Joel and Willock being injured as well. So there's no other choice but to throw Tonali into that mix as well. And we've got to remember, this is a team that played a lot of games together last season.
Oh, yeah, massive.
Well,
yeah.
So the chemistry is there straight away. So it's
but Longstaff was shite all last season as well, wasn't it?
It's a very tough ask for Tonali just to come in and be, right, you need to be the best player that you can be. It doesn't work like that. And like you've rightly said.
Even Anderson apparently was terrible yesterday.
Do you think
that 2 weeks ago? Oh, he's brilliant. He's going to be a £65 million.
PSG against PSG just a handful of days ago.
Yeah,
he came on as a sub, and he was unbelievable.
I don't know what it is with just sections of our fan base just love to overreact.
Mm.
Just look at where we are. We've had I think I'm going to make up a stat here because like, there's something half in my mind, but at the same point last season, we're
2 points better off.
Better, yeah, 2 points better off than we were.
We're 2 points better off, but we're lower in the table just because
it's just the way other results are going around with. So look where we finished last season. Look at the start. We've had a very, very tough start. Yet here we are, 2 points better off than we were.
Yeah.
We've just, went away to AC Milan and drew with them. We've just absolutely mullered PSG at home 4-1. Let's just have a bit of common sense about the situation.
Unbeaten since Liverpool at home, I think.
Brighton.
Yeah. The international break. That was because that was in that gap between the two international breaks. We were unbeaten.
That's the international breaks came at a fantastic time for it.
It has,
because you can see that we're knackered. We know we're down to the bones, particularly in midfield. Wilson obviously was struggling for fitness.
Mm-hmm.
There's another rumor around Isak's, potentially got another knock again. We just need that 2 weeks just to rest, recuperate. Unfortunately, there's a few players are going to go off and be involved with the international teams, but
that time as well.
We get like
Gordon back from suspension, Joe Linton, and will be closer to getting fit again. Obviously, Harvey Barnes is going to be out until next year now. But the players will start coming back.
Yeah,
and then
Botman's been a
big Sven.
big
Sven was
as well.
He was that was Eddie Housing, wasn't it? Don't think it'll be before the international break, which it is proved not to be. But then a couple of weeks time, and then we're pretty much in January by that point. Just buy more lads.
Buy some more.
Just buy some more lads.
Buy some more.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks everybody that has been watching live, and thanks to you that are watching back or listening back on whatever audio outlet you're listening to. Just like the video. Helps us out loads. Become a subscriber. Costs you nothing to do that. If you want to give an extra bit back, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member.
Just text Tonali to 62384.
You get access to
videos,
which other people don't. You get early access to stuff. You get access to the Telegram group and the Discord group as well. Anything else which we need to mention? Don't forget to tag Decker in stats as well over the next, how long's he away? Another 10 days or something?
About that, yeah.
Just tag Decker in stuff, right? It doesn't have to be Newcastle United related, just anything, any sort of stats.
Do you mean a stat like?
Well, I've mentioned the possible stadium expansion.
That's something that we need to talk about next week because there's no game.
All right, fair play.
What stadium expansion?
You got some more stats for you.
Okay.
Do you know if a Premier League game only lasted 75 minutes, we'd be top of the league?
So does that mean that if a Premier League game only lasted the last 15 minutes, we'd be like 15th?
We'd be bottom of the league, yeah. We would have played 8
stuff.
matches, won 6 and lost 2.
So that means that we're not finishing matches very well.
That's what it means.
Because we're knackered.
Liverpool, West Ham, too. There's 5 points straight away there.
Yeah. Non-Newcastle stat. Man City have lost consecutive Premier League matches for the first time since December 2018. And they've had 3 domestic defeats in a row. The first time that they've lost back-to-back Premier League games in 5 years. So 2018. And we beat them in the cup. And completely unrelated to football, I like this one. Did you know?
Have you already stopped?
That at a certain time of the
wish
day,
I hadn't.
when the sunlight filters through the gap between 2 buildings, there's a fountain in Italy, in L'Aquila, that looks as if the statue is pouring fire from the sky.
God, I've
yeah, fair enough.
Impressive, that, isn't it?
Look at that. Oh, that is pretty cool.
Pretty impressive, isn't
yeah,
it?
that is pretty cool.
I'll retweet that for anybody else.
Yeah, that is
it's not a stat, though, is it?
I was just about to slag you off there. Like,
that's
well,
not
pretty cool.
It's
That's
not a stat, is it? It's
Nice.
a fact rather than a stat. Stats are
Statistically factual.
Yeah, that's not a stat. That's
it's not a stat.
Yeah,
The stat
that's
is
not a stat.
the stat is between the hours of certain times,
Depending on what time of year it is.
depending on the date and the time.
Yeah,
how high
That's
the
not a stat.
sun is.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Watch what he's doing. I can't wait till Decker's back and we've got proper stats.
Ooh.
Shite.
What's that picture of that Umbro? You bought one of those Umbro?
Right, bye.
Oh.